government during the war were the combatants of the warring factions that fought against me. So I accomplished bringing them together. I accomplished making sure that the issue of tribalism went away in Liberia. But I mean, to a great extent, I think most Liberians now, if you went to Liberia and took a poll, they would say Mr. Taylor did his best.
Any other regrets?
The second regret is that I was never able to get the United States to understand me. I was never able to get them to work with me, which is so essential for Liberia. No president of Liberia, no president can make it successfully unless he is online with Washington. Now, I'm not the type of guy that you can pick up a telephone and command. I don't take that. I didn't take that from Washington. Then, even if I were elected president, I would not take it. I'm not that guy. I'm not a coward. But I do believe that a good working relationship is essential for any president of Liberia, or that president will fail.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors, and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government inherited a consolidated cash position of $7 million United States dollars. The next administration thus has more resources to deal with emergency macroeconomic challenges than my administration had at its disposal in 2018. My fellow citizens, through our time together, I have still fires to two cornerstones of leadership, keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the root of our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, will never turn against our own people, and external actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of every Liberian citizen as enshrined in our Constitution. Freedom of speech, assembly, and expression were not only preserved, but celebrated. There were no political prisoners or prisoners of conscience during my entire term, a testament to the development of strong democratic institutions that are now not only hailed as competent and professional, but as trusted and credible. Liberia is now regarded as a pillar of democracy in West Africa and a shining example to the world. This was only made possible through our various collaborative efforts. I want to thank all Liberians, regardless of your political affiliation, for staying the course and helping build a stronger and more vibrant nation. As I step aside as president of Liberia, I will remain actively engaged with the politics of the country as standard bearer and political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, in order to ensure the continuation of our strong and vibrant democracy. I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be law-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences, embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Those who wrote the speech, in inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about our effort to bring a new regime. Then we're sitting down with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then you go there, I will tell you that nation, I will tell you US, I will bring one for you. Because you think one for you, Johnson. By the time the woman was reading, when you got to the place, in this country,
when you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries, but there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
in May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, "The government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency." This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. Conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence, 30 years, prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brandon Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions of the SCSF. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement, head of investigations, Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as chief prosecutor for a short time of experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts of Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador of Alliance for War Crimes. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before the U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, this scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asks, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial. This kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, Press Secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington, and President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. What happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of of his personal leadership obligations to the West African subgroup. Therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government of how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
But people, where you at? Where you at? Where you stop? Stop slipping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. People to us. The people lost. The government betray us. I said, the people to us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, I said, we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that let us for our damages. We tired with their speech, they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. Making we saw it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the tendencies to be? We just tell you. Now why we will tell you? But you fool us.
And if we gave all Liberians the chance
Abuse us so. Why?
to speak or ask a question,
Why? But that the question that we ask.
they all will join Takunje in asking these very critical questions. It says to us that these questions are the real complicated issues confronting the minds of many Liberians in and across the country, those residing in the diaspora as well. Everybody wants to know,
The people lie to us. The government.
why? Why is the government betraying them?
But trust.
They believe that the government has lied to them. They trust and hope that they invested.
Where are they?
Or on the other side, that they invested
They too selfish.
in the government.
Tired with their records. People tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray.
As they betrayed.
Let people.
And that's the reason why they are asking the government.
The vision
The people are suffering.
of the nation is poor.
The people believe that the vision, the mission for the rescue government
You lie. Why?
seem to be poor, seem not to be working in many cases on many fronts. And so they say on the 17th of July, we are coming outside. We will assemble at different points to join the organizers of We the People campaign
People who are so.
to participate in the protest under the caption,
Government
under the slogan, We the People, to call our government that we elected to power, to call them to book. We have questions for them. We want them to answer our questions. We have a message for our government. And so we are coming outside. And we shall come outside on the 17th of July to call all of those people we elected.
tired with that.
To say, hey, Mr. President,
You need it.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker,
So why can't you lie? Why
Mr. Deputy Speaker,
can't you allow this?
Madam President pro tempore, members of the Liberian Senate, members of the judiciary, the justice system seems to be on a huge political threat.
Why? The government should lie.
Nobody is expecting any instruction, any opinion that comes from the judiciary. The executive seems to be chasing everybody who wants to raise critical issues. The legislature seems to be the most corrupt,
My people don't want to work on.
most disqualified.
Telling you, brother. So where are they?
The people do not have any trust and confidence in the legislators that they elected. They believe that most of them do not represent their interest. They are all self-seeking. And so we are coming outside on the 17th. That's what the people are saying, that they are coming outside. And we are here to communicate their messages, their questions, their inquiries to their government that they elected. Let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the diaspora, our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight on a Monday. On a Monday like this in the Republic of Liberia. Today is the 5th day of May 2025. Just a lot to talk about. Oh yes, we're going through an interesting piece. It's an old one, but it gives us a space to reflect on where our country has come from. Because the very reasons why we went to wars, all those different wars we fought, critics, analysts, pundits believe that those very reasons are still here living with us, repeating themselves from the hands and from the mouths of our leaders. And so at times it's good to take up time to reflect on where we've come from. Oh yes, and we are dedicating this edition of the show to the memory of a fallen brother and friend, Ecletus Noah. Even we here at Film FM are also bereaved. Imagine interacting with somebody with your security. Just on Thursday, this morning you come to work, you move around just to return to the office and you hear all the other security or hear the top black men to be down. So yeah, so we too are bereaved. The government should lie. Why? But that's life. You know, former Education Minister George Warner wrote a piece that I was reading over the weekend, talking about calling our government to action to declare a national emergency on some of these killer diseases that we pay little or no attention to. And we all focusing on AIDS. We're all focusing on malaria. We are leaving liver, kidney, pressure, and all of that. And these are the really the killer diseases that we have forgotten about. We say little or nothing about them. All of the public awareness you see people carry out, the government or the NGOs, they talk little about these diseases. Everybody is talking malaria, typhoid. You know, I like the wave of cheering, that are taking place across the country about this whole LDC thing. So I hear my papa John Balo say, you should not use the name, man. Folks, the political tension is high in the country. So this show is proudly sponsored by Cram Stepper Liberia of Omen Semsayo. Very shortly we'll take a break from our sponsor. When we come back, we'll move into other issues we talk about tonight. So this break.
International musical. There are crowds in many places. In every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime unfolded, don't take law in your hand for your authority. Let it come take care of it. Come stop right here for us. Be accepted to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a you not talking, I mean you check. Do it for yourself. If you see a don't keep it. You must call some boy. Stop, the people bringing safety to your door. Stop me cry and make it peace for them before. Stop Liberia, from the second to interior. Keep me outside, they stop me cry for all of us. The people bringing safety to your door. Stop me cry and make it peace for them before. Stop Liberia. From the second to interior, keep me outside, they stop me cry for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is a community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man. Old man Sam Cyan.
Stop the people bringing safety to your door. Stop me cry and make it peace for them before. Stop Liberia. From the second to interior, keep me outside, they stop me cry for all of us. The people bringing safety to your door. Stop me cry and make it peace for them before. Stop Liberia. From the second to interior, keep me outside, they stop me cry for all of us.
Yangti to Deja. Introducing Yanjin Beer from Beijing, the newest sensation in town. Yanjin Beer is so smooth and light. You can drink it, wake up in that morning, feeling very energized. And you wicked boy, the woman will be very happy. No headache, no eye spinning. And the Yanjin Beer bottle, it got a special way again open. Nobody will ever use you for the opener again. Very easy. Yanjin Beer can be found wholesale or retail at Sir Exeter and Tongo Water, and also in supermarkets or bars around you. Reward yourself by drinking Yanjin Beer, and trust me, you will be ready to go. Yanjin.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back to the show. So yes, the cash giveaway returns upgraded too, and so yes, it is there. It is active. We apologize to all of you who've been playing and who've been wanting to play, but you didn't have the chance. The system, we were trying to upgrade the system. I think it's upgraded now. It's updated, and we're good to go. So tonight's payout is $4,000, and all you need to do is to follow the same old protocol, the same old pattern. Just make sure you have $100 Liberian on your mobile money account or its equivalent in US dollars. Once you have that, you're qualified to play the cash giveaway. So the short code, which I'm going to call maybe 2-3 times, and then we'll move into something else, because we have to go to welcome all of you who join us tonight on the show from your different places. So the short code, and we told you the fellowship here, when you come here, you gotta share the live. That's the first step. As soon as you join, you share, and you start watching. That's the first step. So we'll keep reminding you, the old students, the new people will keep reminding you. So once you join, you share. Once you join the fellowship, you share. We're here to fellowship. It's a political fellowship. So we're here to fellowship. We have to share with us, with others, so they can follow. So I was saying the short code for the cash giveaway tonight is it remains the same. It's *799*11#. Again, *799*11#. That's the short code you would dial to play the cash giveaway. So once you dial that short code, you enter it or you send it. What's going to happen is you will see two options will appear before you. Option number one will be requiring you or asking you whether you want to play in US dollars. And option number 2 will be asking you whether you want to play in Liberian dollars. Whichever the case is, whichever option or currency you want to play in, you just select the currency, you send, and then you wait for a few seconds. It's going to pop up asking you to enter your mobile money password. Once you enter your mobile money password, you send, it's a bingo for you. You're just sitting there waiting to receive your instant alert telling you you have won for yourself 4,000 Liberian dollars for playing the cash giveaway. Now, for us to give you our secret too, we tell you always that the secret is the more you play, the better your chances are to win. That's all we can say to you. It's a radio game. It's a radio game. It's a game of chance. The symbol you sit and listen to other people winning, you too can be a lucky winner if you play the cash giveaway. So that's it. The short code again is *799 *11 hash. *799 *11 hash. You send, and then you select option number 1 if you want to play in US dollars, or you select option number 2 if you want to play in Liberian dollars. Whichever option you select, you send, and you enter your mobile money password. That's how you play the cash giveaway. The dashboard is right before me. I'm going to be monitoring. As soon as it reaches a chance to do draws, I'm going to do the draws and pay your money instantly and call you to confirm that you receive your money. So that's it. We move into other issues. So on today, the Judge Blamo Dixon rule in the case involving A.B. Kuma and the Fadiga brothers, allowing them to pay him 1.2 million US dollars in general damages, and I think 100,000 US dollars for special damages. And so the defendants have taken an appeal to the full bench of the Supreme Court. So we'll follow that case and see how it ends at the Supreme Court. But that's it. So just an update for you. We care, we the people. So it sounded funny, and it still sounds funny, but again, that's Liberia. That's the country we have. You see, people, I don't know where the moral high grounds of people who have been able to garner respect, from the public over the years. I don't know where that respect has gone. I don't know why our leaders who have aged or who are aging, I'm still struggling to understand why they allow their political affiliation to ruin their sense of reasoning, even if they owe it to the integrity or to the reputation of our politics. Even if they owe it or they should give it to the repetition of our democracy, they say no, we will take it away and pursue our personal happiness over national interest. And this is why you see people who are supposed to be respected. Imagine a former senator. I'm not going to the West. Imagine a former senator or a former member of parliament in Ghana or Nigeria or Sierra Leone is going publicly to say, anybody calls, I don't bear me, I'm getting fat though. All my clothes getting small on me. My leg, they won't even close on the leg. Yeah. So so that's it. The whole thing, you screen too much. So that's it. So sorry, I got it. Okay. So that's it about. Imagine setting and seeing a member of parliament or a former member of parliament from Ghana or Nigeria or South Africa is going publicly to announce in the presence of his family, his children, and everybody, his followers, that I will be causing anybody who will disagree with a president. Just imagine that. You curse the president, or you disagree with the government, or you criticize or critique the government, I will curse. Imagine at that level a former member of parliament. Just imagine that. Now, that's how low our public officials can stoop. So when you hear people saying, oh, these people, they are driven by their better, they're allowing their betters to, drive them towards making decisions that are not in the interest of the country and all of that. Maybe these are some of the reasons people or their critics will bring them like that. Even though some of us will not easily settle for that description, but I mean, come to think about it, that a former senator will come publicly and say, I will cause. He said, I will disagree, or I will debate, or will respond, or will reply to people who disagreed or criticize or condemn the government or the president. No, he said, I will cause. You know why people, some of my friends hate to hear me saying this, but I always say this. When George Weah was president, I never one day agreed with the mood, the tone, the choice of words that were being used by Yeke against George Weah. I never one day settled for it. Till now, I can say this any day. I will never settle for the choice of words that Yeke would decide to use against Joe Barker. I will never settle for it. I will never settle for the choice of words the other man calling himself prophet used against George Weah. Today, I will still not settle for them if they use them. Because you know what? Our disagreement should be on the basis of the subject matter. Our disagreement should be on the issues. You can work on money and start causing somebody, man, as the only way to communicate your disagreement or your anger against the leadership style of the person. No. You can communicate your disagreement. There are millions of words available. And to reach at that level of being a senator, it means you should be inclined enough to be able to face debates, to go into debates, to start inviting criticism, embracing criticism, or replying to criticism in a more mature and responsible manner. But to start announcing that you will cause, man, then again, I sat down and say, who is the person? He says, Samuel Johnson. A man who has a nasty past, a nasty history of bringing down a whole public school in Bombay County. CS do it. One man get up and say, I agree with you. He go in burn whole school. Whole school, he go in burn it down. Somebody with that record at that age as a youth could muster that courage, that bravery to go and burn that whole school. Imagine the man. So when people tell you that not all old people got wisdom, that's the reason. That's not insult. Don't see your man say the man also he's wise. The man also he got wisdom. No. Some people can grow in stupidity. Some people can grow in stupidity. Some people can grow in ignorance. And imagine somebody growing in ignorance or stupidity. You really expect wisdom to come out of that person in his or her old age? No, it's not possible. It's not possible. All the person laugh, the person are not been having sense. And you expect the person to be old, and you say the person was because they are old. No. No, that's not possible. The age all by itself just sit down in one place. And from 0 year to 70, using the biblical age to 70, one place, doing nothing, not contributing to anything. The man is adult. How do you expect wisdom to come out of that man? It's not possible. That's the category of people that Samuel Johnson in. Samuel Johnson only know war and violence. And then what is even disappointing is The EPS director, these are the people the EPS director should be going after. These are the people. These are the people, the EPS people that the Joint Security should be going after. But these people have history of war or committing terrible crimes in our country. So you don't overlook anything that comes from their mouths. You don't. You shouldn't do it. But again, they say, oh yeah, because the person who's saying they will cost, the person is about to cost on behalf of Joe Barker. So this government will not have any issue with Sandra Johnson. This government will not have any issue with Prophet Key. This government will not have any issue with anybody who decides to insult the opposition bloc. They will not have issue. They will have issue when Yeke is insulting the president, Joe Barker, President Barker. The entire government will have issue when Yeke is insulting President Barker. But they will not have issue when Sandra Johnson is announcing to insult people. They will not have issue when Prophet Key is insulting people in Nima County. They do not have any issue. You see the danger? To cause or to insult people on behalf of Joe Barker is good. But for people to insult Joe Barker is bad. It's terrible. No. So you see, at times, the standards you set for yourself, that's how people engage you. People play to your standards. Because you laughed yesterday and cheer Yeke and Prophet Key yesterday when they were insulting Jowia and a man and a woman and everybody. One of them about to get a Red Bull and describing Jowia and a woman in bed. They didn't have issue with it. They celebrated it. They said that book, they made a scholar. They celebrated that, right? Today, do it to Joe Barker and Katumu. They will tell you, say you rule, the people owe, you don't respect the people, you don't respect the people too owe. But he celebrated all these things yesterday. So today, we are saying, hey, we need to clean. We need to sanitize our politics. We need to sanitize our public engagements with our opponents. They are not our enemies. We are just on opposing side of the political divide. One person believes in a people-centered president or politician or political leader. Another person believes in an elite political leader. One group of people subscribe to elitism. Another group of people subscribe to massocracy. That's the beauty of democracy and politics. So this man is a masses leader. This man is a conservative. People say, okay, me, I love conservatives, so I'm going so. So it should be about the issue. So you go and defend your conservative leader without insulting people, without targeting people to kill them. How you won't kill somebody because the person doesn't support your political side? I mean, I don't get it. And again, I always speak about the literacy of our society, the literacy of our democracy. The literacy is high in this country. So you find our major players, most of our major players in our politics and all of that in our governance process, most of them went to school or may have gone to school and acquire some people, but their reasoning is low, the reasoning is poor. And that's what illiteracy does to the mind. You know, I see Sarah Johnson doing that kind of thing. John Balu telling other people, say, don't use my weekend. I consider that as a comedy, you know, so I'm not going to spend any time on it. So I was telling Alexa today, I can't listen to the show. John Balu say, we the people should only be used by him. He owns it. Then I was laughing because I know that John Balu owns Meriden. If I before owning Meriden Guest House, John Balu was running a guest house in Lokintown called Republic Hotel. Eh? So there's a newspaper called New Republic. So they supposed to start fighting over the name. Our county, there's a county in Liberia called Meridian County. John Balu Hotel. His hotel, a guest house. He's running. It's called Meridian Guest House. When you Meridian Guest House in Liberia, like John Balu owns it. So the people of Meridian to the Meridian, they just supposed to move from Meridian can just enter one room, put a bed in, and then they go sleep. In the morning, they go back when they're ready to go back Meridian. They go back Meridian. Why? Huh? But they guess on the Meridian Guest House. If for us, with the people from Meridian. Eh? So I'm about to say, because Maryland County is a county that got Creole people and cool people and all the kind of different people. When people come from Maryland to Monrovia, they just go and look for Maryland guest house. And then room are open, they end up put a bed down, put a belongings down. They table, they rest, find food to eat, and they spend like 1, 2, 3 days or 1 week, and they go back Maryland. They sleep free. Because Maryland County is the first, is the originator of that name. So anybody using Maryland should belong to Maryland County. Maryland Business Center should belong to Maryland County. Maryland Guest House should belong to Maryland County. John Balu, that kind of thing John Balu telling us. But I mean it sounds comical actually, so let's not run into that too much. All of our people who've joined the show tonight, I intentionally choose not to welcome all of you tonight to the show because you're refusing to share the show. But I will do it. I will welcome you tonight. I'll welcome you. But I actually did not want to welcome you because you guys are refusing to share the show. So George Watkins, welcome to the show. Peter, one day. Godfire, Otto Johnson, John Flomo Snow or John Flomo Sumo. Welcome, all of you. Asada Miller, Agatha Glasgow, Christopher, my own Brabby. Welcome. Dennis Brooks, Prosperity, all of you, welcome, Princess. Welcome to the show. Arvin, Venetius Junior Bar, Tony and Perry, Anna Taylor. Thanks to all of you. Sexor, Yenka, Charles City, all of you, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Antoinette Anderson, all of you, welcome. Stephen Nangbe, welcome to the show. All of you tonight. Like I said, I didn't want to recognize you, but I mean, I had to do it because you won't be me members. You come to the show, you come to the fellowship, and you don't want to share the show with others. So we did a post on Facebook. I know a lot of people have joined the show tonight to follow this piece. It's a 29-page document. And we said we're going to try to go through some of the most important accounts. Yeah, I know it is deep. So these accounts are written by Dr. Han, Dr. Niels Han, and an interesting piece. So let's go into the details. Let's go into the details. It's a long piece. We'll try to read. We'll try to spend maybe the next 45 minutes and see how many pages we can cover. And see what we can cover. Okay, so so the caption of this piece is U.S. covert and overt operations in Liberia between 1970 to 2003. Covert domain secret, and overt domain openness, public. Open. Nothing to her. So it's a U.S. covert and overt operations in Liberia, 1970s, the 1970s to 2003. I think I should do the background. Yes. So, introduction and background. With support from the U.S. Navy, the American Colonization Society founded Liberia as an American colony in 1822. Let's move on. Liberia became a foothold of the USG in Africa during European colonialism, a place from where it could project its interest into other parts of the continent. In 1926, the Firestone Company established one of the world's largest rubber plantations in Liberia as a response to the British rubber monopoly. In the following decades of decades, the USG put in place a number of military facilities such as the deep sea port, an airport, and numerous military bases and training camps. By the 1970s, Liberia hosted the largest U.S. embassy in Africa, with more than 250 American employees. The Voice of America's relay system for Africa, the U.S. Diplomatic and Intelligence Communication Relay Station, and one of the 8 antennas for the Omega navigation system, later replaced by the Global Positioning System. The Liberian elite, often referred to as American Liberians, have acted with a combination of compliance and resistance to U.S. influence. The most significant era of compliance and alliance with the U.S. government was that of William Tubman's administration from 1944 to 1971. As a result of the open door policy, the period is often referred to as an era of economic growth and prosperity. However, the policy created wide income gaps between the rich and the poor. The repressive measures were used to counter any opposition to the government of Liberia through a comprehensive intelligence network connected to the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. This is an interesting scholarly piece that I need you to listen. When President Tubman died in 1971, his successor, William Tubman, resumed resistance of U.S. influence in Liberia. This account, under his leadership, the GOL began to reorient the economic system from labor capitalism towards state-led planned economic systems, focusing on full self-sufficiency and industrialization. To gain support for this policy, Tubman established relations with socialist-oriented countries such as the USSR and the People's Republic of China, now Russia. More than 30 state-owned enterprises were established, and the GOL began to set restrictions on the use of U.S. military facilities in Liberia. Concession agreements with foreign companies were renegotiated, creating serious tensions, particularly with Firestone. Furthermore, the GOL advocated for Pan-African unity against non-colonialism and promoted the Declaration on the establishment of a newly international economic order adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1974. Tubman was directly involved in the formulation of the Monrovia Declaration, adopted by the Organization of African Unity, meeting held in Liberia in 1979. This declaration led to the influential Lagos Plan of Action for the Economic Development of Africa, 1980 to 2000, which states that the exploitation of Africa continue to be carried out through neo-colonialist external forces which seek to influence the economic policies and directions of the African state. This report stands in sharp contrast to the World Bank's Berg report, published in 1981, which partly makes the beginning of structural adjustments programs in Africa. The CIA reacted to Tubman's policies by supporting Liberian civil society groups in opposition to the government of Liberia, in particular the Progressive Alliance of Liberia PA, headed by Bacchus Matthews, who was in close contact with the CIA. The PA often used rhetorics to denounce the GOL. The most significant event took place after the GOL accelerated the national plan for food self-sufficiency by stimulating local rice production through an increased import tax, on foreign produced rice. The PA claimed, that's the Progressive Alliance claimed that this was a way to boost the profit of rice importers and promote Tobago's own private rice production. I mean, Tobago having a farm, Tobago had created a farm producing rice. So they used a rhetoric, according to this article. The rhetoric was Tobago is imposing is increasing far of the tariff on the imported rice, which will reduce rice being imported in the country and shift the public's attention, the entire country attention to his farm. So the entire country will be buying rice from him. That's the rhetoric that Bacchus Matthew there, according to the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, according to this article. That's the rhetoric they use of that 1979 rice rioting. So it continues. The PA claimed that this was a way to boost the profit of rice importers and promote Tobago's own private rice production. It organized a major demonstration in Monrovia on 14 April 1979, which became violent, with security forces opening fire on the crowds. The GOL saw the incident, which became known as the rice riot, as the work of foreign powers. A confidential White House memorandum issued about 6 months later noted that the riot in Monrovia had severely damaged the GOL and that it was unlikely Tobago who survived until the end of his term in 1983. On 12 April 1980, a coup of 17 armed men, non-commissioned soldiers in the armed forces of Liberia, entered the executive mansion shortly before midnight and shot President Turbot. One of the soldiers, Albert Toole, recalls that after having killed Turbot, the coup makers contacted the U.S. Embassy, which endorsed the coup and promised to provide all necessary support. That same morning, the leader of the coup, Samuel Doe, announced on national radio that a military coup had taken place and that a military junta under the name of the People's Redemption Council had taken power under his leadership. Doe and the U.S. government formed friends to foes. The U.S. Embassy was instrumental in forming the PRC as a military junta immediately after the coup. All civilian communication was shut down in Liberia, and American advisors were assigned to Liberian key ministries. So, according to this article, there were American advisors to assign to all the ministry or key ministries. According to this article, the American advisors were assigned to Liberian key ministries: U.S. Charge Affairs. Julius Walker states that U.S. soldiers were deployed in Monrovia and got looters and shooters off the streets. Though had not really expected to be where he was. He feared that forces were coming from all corners to attack him, and he wanted America to send him strong support. The PRC established a special military tribunal that charged 13 key government officials from the Turbot administration. I think we can skip that because that is an open history. We want to go to the main issue. The execution by firing squad on the beach was broadcast by international media. U.S. Ambassador Robert P. Smith notes that everyone knew that only Frank Turbot, senator and brother of former President Turbot, Richard Henry's deposed Speaker of the House of Representatives James Pierre, deposed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and Reginald Thompson, deposed Chairman of the Chewy Party, were to be executed. In quotation, the PRC added the nine other people, and then destroyed the records of the tribunal. According to Smith, the Soviets were very interested in all this, although they were completely non-plussed by the group, though, however, knew little and cared less about communism and the Soviet Union. Walker knows that Doe was exceedingly pro-American because of the training he received earlier from the U.S. Army and the people he had known, such as Colonel Grosley and his officers. Smith recalls that Doe adored Colonel Grosley and referred to him always in the third person as the chief. According to Smith, the presence of the U.S. military mission that had been there for decades saved the United States in Liberia. He knows that he can't emphasize strongly enough how helpful it was to have this small group of American Army officers consisting of a group of lieutenant colonels, and majors who were closely related to their counterparts in the armed forces of Liberia, though could quickly pass the war with whatever the chief Grosley says goes. Furthermore, the U.S. government sent 3 Army mobile training teams to Liberia to train the newly formed 1st Infantry Battalion, the Army Staff, and the Ranger Company. For the first anniversary of the PRC, Walker arranged for the arrival of the new Navy ship and got the Green Berets from Fort Bridge, who landed in Monrovia by parachutes. Let's go up. James Ken Bishop, U.S. Ambassador to Liberia 1987-1990, indicates that after the coup, the U.S. government regained access to the seaport and airport, allowing the government to send cargo to other parts of Africa with no questions asked. U.S. aid to Liberia increased significantly from below US 20 million in 1979 to above US 120 million in 1982. By the end of 1985, the PRC had received around US 500 million in foreign aid from America, exceeding aid given to other sub-Saharan countries. Herman Cohen, who served as U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs from 1989 to 1993, states that the aid was not aimed at benefiting the general population in Liberia, but at protecting the interests of the United States because the Cold War taught us the United States in favor of supporting Doe because we got reciprocal treatment. We were supporting certain governments that were clearly not going to use their assistance for development, but use it for other reasons. And we supported people like Mobutu in Zaire, and a few others. Unquote. For example, in 1986, America was sending military equipment to the anti-communist National Union of the Total Independence of Angola, rebels in Angola, using Rabas Field in Liberia and Kinshasa Airport in Zaire. This project alone justified good relations with both the Doe and Mobutu regimes. Let's go further. Yeah, we got enough now. As we doing this thing, you'll be playing the cash giveaway. Like we said, the short code is *799 *11 hash. That's the short code to play the cash giveaway. So once you're playing, we'll go through it and see. You come back, we'll do you some jobs. Let's see what we can do this for the next 30 minutes. Okay, so this is where I want to go down. To, who became a central member of those administration, uh, mentions that according to the plan, the PRC, the People Redemption Council, should rule the country until 1985, which will provide the time to shift many of the policies of the Tubman administration, such as cutting off relations with the USSR and Libya, closing the state-owned enterprises, preparing a new constitution for the Second Republic, and planning for elections in 1985. After the elections, members of the military junta, including Doe, were expected to hand over power to a civilian government and return to their barracks. However, Doe ran for election in 1985 and won, which was not part of the plan. The U.S. government recognized the election. And in a statement to the U.S. Subcommittee on African Affairs of the State Foreign Relations Committee, Chester A. Croker, U.S. Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, confirmed that the U.S. government had been active, in quotation, active in each step along the way, encouraging the Liberian authorities to live up to their promise to issue a second republic of Liberia, unquote. However, the relationship between Doe and the U.S. government gradually deteriorated in the latter half of the 1980s. Emmanuel Brewer, former Minister of Information in the Doe administration, recalls that Doe had gradually changed from being a country boy and puppet, unquote, and puppet of the U.S., unquote, to a resistor of the denomination. So they say, man, to a noble country born now, you are noble puppet of the US now. He was a resistor of the US. You started resisting, allegedly. Some of these scholars writing here, we're reading. These content do not represent our opinions. Let's continue. Tension between Doe and the US government became evident in early 1987, about 2 years before Cohen became U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs. He went on a trip to Liberia with George Scoot, U.S. Secretary of State. Peter McPherson, Administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, and James L. Woods, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. During the trip, Cohen was informed that relations between the GOL and the U.S. government has become complicated. The U.S. government had great concerns about the GOL's ability to repay Liberia's debt, and McPherson had proposed assigning a team of retired financial experts to work with the Liberians for 2 years to get their books and procedures in order, unquote. According to Cohen, Doe did not have a clue about Washington realities. About Washington's realities. About 3 months later, Bishop, the new U.S. ambassador to Liberia, arrived in Monrovia. His directive was to pay special attention to management of the relationship with the GOL so that the U.S. government could continue to have access to strategic facilities. Additionally, he was to protect U.S. commercial interests such as Firestone, American-owned banks, and the Liberian Maritime Registry, and to continue the original strategy of civilizing Doe by providing him financial assistance, which will enable his government to organize and manage itself while instructing Doe in political governance. Essentially through ambassadorial tutorial. It was imperative, however, that Bishop ensure that the U.S. government not become anathema to their successors' government by being perceived as too closely attached to the Doe regime sought, and McPherson persuaded Doe to accept a team of 17 American financial experts who were deployed at the control points of the government of the GO's financial system, and such as the Ministry of Finance and the Customs and the Budget Office. Among other responsibilities, they will be required to co-sign all government documents relating to fiscal expenditures. That's where we have to continue. If these accounts are true, if I have your opinion for another country, co-signing your financial documents. However, many people in the Doe administration saw the deployment of these advisors as blatant neo-colonialism. Some of the experts were threatened, and the U.S. Embassy was concerned about their security. As tensions between the advisors and the GOA increased, Cohen visited Monrovia again on September 1987 at the request of Ambassador Bishop to inform Doe about the importance of cooperating with the financial management team. So those people now, and let's just stop cooperating with the financial advisors that were deployed at key government ministries and agencies, co-signing financial documents, financial transactions, all of that. That's where the trouble coming in for Doe. Nevertheless, tensions intensified, and Doe made the U.S. financial experts personal non grata in Liberia. According to Bishop, the financial experts were withdrawn, stating, unquote, for public consumption, that the program was terminated by mutual agreement in 1988. Around the same time, the GOA had re-established relations with the USSR and Libya, but those bonds were not strong because Doe had appeared very hostile to both countries in the first half of the 1980s. Since the GOA had financial constraints, a representative from the Republic of China contacted Doe and offered him financial assistance to return for recognition of the Republic of China. A number of GOA officials saw Taiwan's move as a U.S. coordinated effort to isolate Liberia in the UN Security Council, where the People's Republic of China had veto power, and advised Doe not to recognize Taiwan. However, because Doe accepted the offer of the people of the Republic of China, the People's Republic of China broke diplomatic relations with the GOA. When George H.W. Bush came into office in January 1989, Liberia was a cause of concern and the subject of the first interagency Africa policy coordinating committee on 19 May 1989, with Cohen as the new Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs. The committee meeting was particularly concerned with those threats to undermine U.S. access to its strategic facilities in Liberia, in particular Roberts International Airport, which the United States used for 12 flights per month in support of activities throughout Africa. It was concluded that all the facilities were important and virtually irreplaceable. The United States therefore greeted the arrival of anti-Doe insurgents in Lima County on December 24, 1989, as almost as a relief. The group of insurgents was the National Patriotic Front led by Charles Taylor, removal of Doe's administration. Taylor had been allocated the position as director of the General Services Agency under the PRC He fled to the United States in 1983 after he was accused of embezzling $900,000. There, he was arrested at the request of the GOA, but escaped from Plymouth County Correctional Facility in Massachusetts in November 1985. According to Taylor, during the night, the prison guard escorted him to a minimum security area from which he escaped through a window and was taken to New York in what he assumed was a United States government vehicle. In what Taylor assumed was a U.S. government vehicle. Taylor subsequently arrived in Ghana, where, according to Arnold Kwano, a former general in the armed forces of Ghana, he was arrested because the Ghanaian authorities suspected him of working for the CIA. At that time, tensions existed between President Jerry Rawlings of Ghana and the U.S. government, partly because of Rawlings' strong rhetoric about Western neo-colonialism in Africa. After diplomatic talks with the government of Burkina Faso, headed by Thomas Sankara, Taylor was released and traveled to Ivory Coast, where he joined the relatively newly formed NPFL. According to Prince Johnson, a leading member of the NPFL and later head of the Independent National Patriotic Front of Liberia, Taylor ascended rapidly through the hierarchy of the NPFL and was introduced to Blaise Compaoré, the deputy head of state of Burkina Faso, and through him to President Sankara. Sankara introduced Taylor to Colonel Muammar Gaddafi and later became the main center for coordination of the NPFL. Recruits for the latter were trained. Let's go up. Okay. Let's go. The main center for coordination of the NPFL. Recruits for the latter were trained at Wheelers Air Base, a former U.S. military base in Libya. According to Cyril Allen, who became among the most influential politicians in Taylor's administration from 1997 to 2003, and Daniel Che, who served as Liberian Minister of National Defense from 1997 to 2006. The NPFL was in contact with all parties who wished to remove Doe from office. It sought support from multiple sources, including private business people and governments, such as those of France and the United Kingdom, but in particular the USG. The NPFL insurgency took place in December 1989 in close communication with the U.S. government advisors, but a split occurred within the NPFL, resulting in formulation of the INPFL under the leadership of Johnson. The maintains that this happened because Taylor had no confidence in many of the NPFL members and began to make covert divisions within that organization. The INPFL rapidly grew to more than 500 soldiers, and on their way to Monrovia, they captured strategic places and towns. John Richardson, who was considered Taylor's right hand and later served as National Security Advisor in the GOL, says that the NPFL leadership believed that Johnson's INPFL could be so well equipped militarily and advanced so fast only with support from the U.S. government. Until 2006, Johnson denied that the INPFL was supported by the U.S. government, but in private conversations with key members of the dissolved NPFL, he has gradually indicated that he did receive substantial support from the U.S. government, according to the Liberian newspaper, The Informer. Johnson stated for the first time publicly in 2009 that the INPFL received amount received around 10 million from a number of powerful states, including America, to finance the war. By June 1990, Johnson's well-equipped IMPFL controlled the large part of Monrovia, including the people of Monrovia and the U.S. Embassy area. Taylor's MPFL had also advanced and controlled the other side of Monrovia, in between the two forces were those of those which control a relatively small area around the executive mansion in the center of Monrovia. Things happening in this country, folks. Things happening in this country. If these accounts are anything to go by, things happening in this country. Okay. By June 1990, Johnson's well-equipped IMPFL controlled a large part of Monrovia, including the people of Monrovia and the U.S. Embassy area. Taylor's MPFL had also advanced and controlled the other side of Monrovia, in between the two forces were those of those which control a relatively small area around the executive mansion in the center of Monrovia. I will stop here. I'll read this one and stop here. There you are. The split between the MPFL and the IMPFL appears to reflect internal disagreements within the U.S. government. He observed that those departures in Taylor's coming to power were the heart of the U.S. policy. Taylor recalled that there was full cooperation between me, the IMPFL, and Washington. And every move we took, we consulted Washington. Uncle, just uncle. Uncle, that really quotation again with Taylor. Those, Taylor is talking now. Those departure, some of those departure, and Taylor's coming to power, were the heart of the U.S. policy. That, for him talking, the U.S. Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, for him talking, said those departure means those leaving and Taylor coming in to power were at the heart of America, of the U.S. policy. Their policy was this domain, acting you, acting fiscally, they're pushing off and Taylor. They brought Taylor in, the election brought Taylor in, so we put that in, we moved to Taylor in, because those was not listening to them anymore according to this article. So they brought their own man Taylor, praising, brought him to Monrovia to take on the mantle of authority, who they believe in return listen to him. So Orin described it as the heart of the U.S. policy. Taylor recalls that there was full cooperation between me, the MPFL, and Washington. And every move we took, we consulted Washington first. Orin indicates that the U.S. State Department have proposed that those should resign in favor of Vice President Harry Monumba. I repeat, Orin indicates that the U.S. State Department have proposed that some of those should resign in favor of Harry Monumba, the Vice President. If those resign, Harry Monumba will take over as President, who will appoint Charles Taylor as the new Vice President and then himself resign. Taylor will become President of Liberia, but will have to organize an election in October 1991, pursuant to the Constitution. So the deal, according to this article, this account, the US government has proposed, say, hey, you know what I mean? Some of those you have to resign, you have to step aside. The Vice President Harry Monumba will take over. But Harry Monumba, when you take over, you yourself, you appoint Charles Taylor as your Vice President. The reason why you'll be appointing Charles Taylor is because you want Charles Taylor to be president. According to this article, we America will want Charles Taylor to be president. So Joe will resign, will ask Joe to resign, and you resign. When Joe resigns, you have a Monumba as the Vice President, will take over as president, and you will appoint Charles Taylor as Vice President. When you appoint Charles Taylor as Vice President, you two will resign, and then Charles Taylor will become president. Charles Taylor will become president, and then you will take the country to election in 1990. Oh, that was a strategy according to this article. the State Department had arranged with the president of Togo that President Joe be granted asylum in Togo. The United States had an aircraft available in Freetown ready to pick him Joe up. In quotation, Cohen was supposed to go to Monrovia and say to Joe, Uncle, this is the quotation. Okay, now it's time. Get your family and everyone and get on the plane. Let's go. The plane changed. Though because the U.S. Department of Defense had overruled the Department of State. According to Cohen, Robert Gates, the Deputy National Security Advisor, shut down elements of Cohen's planes and ordered deployment of the U.S. Marine Amphibious Readiness Group, which arrived offshore of Monrovia in 3rd of June 1990, prepare for deployment in a war zone. Bishop states that the Bush administration pulled us back and told us that they did not want us to interfere because they didn't want to accept any degree of moral responsibility of Charles Taylor becoming the next head of state of Liberia, which Bishop thinks was a mistake. Bishop's mission in Liberia was terminated and he was appointed U.S. ambassador to Somalia. Because the GOL was under massive military pressure from the NPFL and the IMPFL, the U.S. government played a central role in directing the Economic Community of West African State ECOWAS to set up an interim government of national unity for Liberia in Sierra Leone, headed by Amos Sawyer. Furthermore, a regional intervention force known as the Economic Community of West African States Monitoring Group (ECOMOG) was established to support the installation of the interim arrangement. Cohen believed that the U.S. State Department saw ECOMOG as the only hope for ending Liberia's downward slide into anarchy. ECOMOG's plan was well conceived and had the extra merit of involving Africans working to solve an African problem. Kwanu, the appointed force commander of ECOMOG, recalls that behind closed doors, the U.S. government ensured full support of ECOMOG, but emphasized that it had to appear as an African initiative, that the U.S. government prepared to fund ECOMOG indirectly. Cohen notes that the U.S. Policy Coordinating Committee for Africa was concerned that a major U.S. contribution to the West African military force would lead to follow-on requests for direct military support. Therefore, the United States initially contributed a symbolic $3.3 million to show solidarity with an important African initiative. The U.S. State Department happily treated the ECOWAS initiative, but the U.S. government had taken the permanent backseat while keeping a large Marine Amphibious Readiness Group contingent stationed offshore, just in case. The U.S. government worked behind the scenes to frequent high-power visits to the region by U.S. top officials and officials by providing economic and military support to countries that supported ECOMOG. Kwanu notes that indirect support to ECOMOG became popular among many West African leaders because the organization appeared as an African initiative rather than neo-colonial interference. It became socially prestigious to serve under ECOMOG and fight for modern Africa. In contrast, Prince Johnson maintains that it was written all over that ECOMOG was made in America. ECOMOG had made an agreement with Johnson that the IMPFL should secure the people in Monrovia to ensure a bridgehead for ECOMOG. The GOA also saw the ECOMOG's intervention proposed as a U.S. proxy that would guarantee the installation of and protection of the interim government. The NPF perceived ECOMOG in the same way, expecting it to become the main enemy and therefore try to stop the deployment of the force. Let me take some water. You see, there's a reason why all of us should continue to feature these different accounts. And that reason is very simple. If you do a reflection based on what I have read, you establish a number of things, a number of actions. You will conclude that one of the reasons why we went to war in this country was because leaders upon leaders were defined with some inferior authority or to the authority of the people. Two reasons. I repeat, other leaders, our leaders were repeatedly, successively defined to some inferior authority or to the authority of the constitution or the authority of the people. Went to war, to change leaders upon leaders through unconstitutional means, because leaders decided to be defiant to constitutional authorities or to inferior authorities. Western imperialists. That's one. Two, there is a key takeaway that requires us reflecting. It requires this government, this current government, to reflect. That political interest has never been and will never be permanent to certain Western countries or Western allies. That interest generally will never be permanent. It shifts, it rotates, depending on the current situation or depending on the current interest, the existing interest. Now, there is also something to take away, all of us Liberians, that we should, while it is true that we should see people in the West, so they love the Israel as our friends or our allies, we should always bear at the back of our minds that, hey, these relationships or alliances are not permanent. They are driven by interest. And once we can decide to stand up as Liberians and say, you know what, enough is enough. We have our natural resources, we have everything it takes to build our country. It means we're sending a message of defiance. At that point, interest, Western interests, become threatened. So those Western imperialists or conservatives will start to say, I'm not talking about taking this, like not putting suspicion on the expectation of going down. I want interested in going down, so you see these companies demand going and shipping. To announce suspension of exportation of diamond from Liberia and gold, this announcement of pronouncement poses direct threat to our economic interest, our business interests. You get the point? So it has been on the basis of interest and not solidified friendship, not sincere friendship. And many believe that this has been happening over and over and over and over and again. So when Joe Biden comes to power as president of our country, and not considering these factors available before him, and start to increase political tension by chasing or hunting down critical voices, chasing opposition leaders, and provoking violence on a daily basis, some of us, it beats our imagination. It creates the space for us to say, just remind Mr. President that, hey, Mr. President, all these actions from you are significant reasons to plunge this country into chaos. And that's why some of our friends don't let us to hear us into what chaos. You can't say you want to protect your Western allies' interests in your country, and you want to disrespect the rule of law. It doesn't work together. I mean, apart. You can say we want to protect Western interests, but we want to disrespect the rule of law. Because in the absence of the rule of law, Western interests will not be protected in this country. And even the West themselves are aware that in the absence, that's what they spend a lot in ensuring that countries where they have vested interests, that those countries are kept stable, peaceful, and all of that. Once that interests come under attack, destabilize the country. And so, for Mr. Biden to say, Supreme Court, to hell with you. For Mr. Biden to say, major opposition leaders, to hell with all of you. For Mr. Biden to say, all seditious, all those who were employed in his government, in the Liberian government from 2018 to 2023, you have removed all of them, replaced them. Hey, you are not protecting the West's interest. You are not protecting the interest of your allies, because the citizens will rise up. The citizens will rise up, and they will not be rising up against Joe Biden. They will not be rising up against the interests of our Western allies and friends. They will be rising up for their rights. People want to protest. Just 2-second walk from the assembly point to where they want to go and read the petition. They are intruded. They are besieged. They are barricaded. They are intimidated. They are tear gassed. Students want to protest. They are not being given a chance to protest. What you are telling them, you don't talk. Don't come outside. You're telling them, go inside and play your insurgency and come outside with it. That's what you're telling them. But if you allow them to come outside and express their grievances to you, it gives you the space, the opportunity to solve the problem as a government. That's why responsible democrats allow opinions, critical views. That's why decent, mature democracies embrace critical opinions. Because when the people are angry, when human beings are angry, they say their mouth, they say their heart. So democracy say, allow the angry people to express themselves. Allow the angry people to express themselves. Allow them to assemble in a peaceable manner to express themselves. Because you know what? When that man, as angry as he is, when he assembles to where he wants to assemble and he communicates his views or his anger or his disagreement against you, the government, that man goes back home. He's not going to express his anger and go start breaking down structures or start shooting guns. He's back home. But when he expresses his anger, it places the government in the position to know what exactly that angry man's mind is. A responsible government will do what? They look into the anger expressed, into the opinions expressed, into the views expressed, and then take the sensible one on that basis. You, the one and think, does not not make sense to you, you put it once, you don't even trash it. You not going to trash it. You put it down. Because probably that content or that opinion that does not make sense to you today, tomorrow, the moment might be different, that opinion or views will make sense to you. You don't trust it. The million ones that you think making sense to you, take it from them. But can't make sense. The ones that don't make sense to you now, save it. Wait and see tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, next month. I will not think to look at it. Because the government, you want to survive, you want to thrive, you need a politically stable terrain to govern well. A terrain that does not enjoy political stability, does not enjoy or attain good governance. You will not be able to showcase good governance. So you need to allow people to express their grievances as required by the Constitution. You can't be coming down on people who just want to assemble and express their opinions to you, their grievances. Look, Mr. Bwaga, whatever the case is, you are not poor, you can't be poor. You are not a thief. You can't be a thief. Even the person that will take over from you will not be a thief. So everybody will not like you. Everybody will not agree with you, with your actions, your governance approach. Everybody will not agree with you. At 80 years old, Mr. President, you are supposed to be aware that you're supposed to be too experienced to know that everybody will not agree with you in this country as long as you are president. Even when you are not president, just sit in your Baptist church or your deacon bench, not everybody in that deacon meeting will agree with you, Mr. President. This is just so simple, a civil laws for mature people to understand that everybody will not agree with you, but because people do not agree with you, does not make that person your enemy. It means the person just does not agree with you. You want to eat red plum, the person wants to eat green plum. You believe that eating red plum makes eating easier, makes chewing easier. The person believes that eating green plum makes eating difficult. You believe that eating should be easier. Another person believes that eating should be difficult. So the person who believes that eating should be difficult goes for green plum, because eating green plum makes eating difficult. You agree that eating should be easier. You will go for red plum to make eating easy for you. Ideological difference. It's the beauty of the democracy that Barack Obama claimed to have fought for. Even though there are accounts that they were on their personal fighting, proxy war, all of that, which is a different argument of conversation for another time. Mr. Bwaga, let's be clear, Mr. President, you can't be allowing your security people to be intimidating people who say they want to come. The real threat to democracy, the real threat to your government, the real enemy to your government will be your Minister of Justice, your Liberia police director, who will decide to put armed men in the street to beat on people and shoot live bullets to discourage people who are angry, who have issues. Your government it displaces people. And you say the country should be peaceful. You are about to dismiss 80 new human beings from the governance commission. You say all those 80 people should go and call praise and worship service for you and worship you. You displacing 80 human beings. 80 human beings should go and organize praise and worship. One group, the divine saying the one group be organizing praise and worship, the other group be doing fast and prayer, the other group be facing ice cream, and the other group be ready washing your clothes. It doesn't make sense, Mr. President. Let's be frank. You are displacing 80 human beings from the governance commission. You took over 70 persons from the EPS. You took over 200 persons from the police. You lay over, I'm told, additional 600 persons from the NPA. You are going to terminate their contract. And the list goes on and on. and the different entities. Many people, and you target the people who got employed for the 18 to 20. It means that people who are believed to be sufficient, but they are no longer. I don't know how I get to God to become what God do. They a question, a question of. I said, well, you see, I know, I'm amongst the 80 people from government commission. How will be putting more on your whole day? Joe Baga, let me hear. I'm affected. I didn't get that thing. So you see, you will cause more problems for yourself because when you decide to target people who were employed in the government, the citizens employ United Palestinians. You don't know that? There are United Palestinians who were friends to civilians. When they got jobs, they begin heads or deputy heads of entities. They brought in those people not on the basis of their political affiliation, but on the basis of their personal relationship with them. So the civilians were employing people on the basis of how their affiliation with the political party or their personal relationship, or because they have the qualification regardless of their political alignment. And then the city kept people on the jobs. You put people on the jobs. They didn't chase anybody, they didn't run after anybody. You come in, you say once you got employment in 2018, between 2018 to 2023, you are not qualified to be in your government. You put all those people together, they all were around 5,000 to 6,000 persons. So you take 5,000 to 6,000 persons for the job. I mean, add the contractors there. When you add contractors there, who contracts the 10 million, maybe it will be something around 15,000 to 16,000 persons. Sorry, 7,000 to 8,000 persons. So you removing 7,000 to 8,000 persons from government payroll. The only crime they committed is because they were employed in the CDC government. That's the only crime. They say 6,000 to 7,000 human beings losing their jobs to just go sit down and start praising you. They should not get angry. And each of those 5,000 to 6,000 persons times 2 as 14 to 16 to 14,000 persons. So 16 to 17,000 persons. That at least each person is capable of bringing one person. So if you put all that number together that have been dismissed and the ones that are about to get dismissed, they all will go all that day or they go protest. July 17. They will go protest because they lost their job. They believe that they lost their job because they are perceived to be opposition people. So why should I stay home now? Well, I really lose. At least I had a job, I will be scheming. But even you really dismissing me, so there's no need to scheme. Let me just go join people. Even if I was not a civilian, I go join them because they been taking my job from me, thinking I'm a civilian. So let me go. So the president, these targeted dismissals, they are a whole national security threat. And I'll say this to all of you: targeted dismissal. It's a whole national security threat. If you don't know, it is a form of economic sabotage, which I will expand on more if I need to how to help you with that. You target a particular. We do know the economic impact of taking 6,000 persons from job. It means 6,000 persons are advised to return to the unemployment bracket. 6,000 human beings between the unemployment bracket, and you think it's going to increase your employment rate? It's not going to increase your employment rate. What it's going to do is going to increase your own employment rate. So you are posing more threat to the national security threat, economic threat to your employment. More people are jobless. they are angry. If they are angry, they will step up to the government because they are no good to the government. So you are not doing the same thing. You are not helping yourself. It's all you don't allow it because it's supposed to easy, so you will not say anything good about. Okay, come here and a battle of you every day. You're not helping yourself. You're harming the government, and you jeopardizing our peace. Because those of us who are not members of political parties, we are entitled to our political views and opinions. But we're not members to any party now. So what becomes of us? You want to jeopardize our peace because you get issued with seditions. So those of us who are not seditions, what happens to us? We're not supposed to live in a peaceful country. We can live in a peaceful country, don't have any political party, but support politicians, for representatives, for senator and president. We can. We don't have to be members of political party. So you targeting a particular group of political partisans. Mixing your economy, jeopardizing the peace, and placing a huge portion of the serious way to company business. How many persons today for Japan? How many persons today for God? Do all that because they get 5 million people. All the people that put in the election, all the total number of voters in the country. Enough of our the people that are voting, enough of our all the people that voted so far. 5 million. They only have 2 million people voting in the country. So the other people, 3 million people are not voting. Mr. President, don't you care about them? The other 3 million people that are not voting, don't you care about them, about their safety? You're allowing a minority of the country to lead you into community. It's all of us. Without anything, let the people protest. They are entitled. People protested here. You all protested here. Waka, your own record, you said you supported protest in this country. You said protest was a constitutional right. How come today it should not be a constitutional right? And so you people here protest. Oh, they're scared. What are people who lived and survived on protest for the 6 years in opposition? And as soon as they hear protest, they get jittered. I still say, that somebody talking about civil. No, nobody fucking war in this country. The only group of people that I'm sure will shoot God in the country will be the people. Now I'm sure. If there are protest, rally, will be shoot. Now I'm sure. But no one kind of country. Nobody putting war in the country. Like don't make it out to look there. Oh, people coming from no. The government coming in. The government is not any. It's the president will serve the remaining term. Mr. Braga, he said he will stay on as president, and all of us will wish him long life, good health, for him to govern this country, using his experience to govern this country, so we can be able to appraise his performance after he leaves the presidency tomorrow. So nothing happening to him. Nobody pray for anything to happen to him. We want Mr. Braga to remain strong, focused, and captain to govern this country. If he does not govern well, if he makes mistakes, if he does not, we just start him. Nobody coming to do evil for Joe Braga. He's our president. Who all did not support him. It does not mean wishing evil. The city may have 42 years experience. He had the solutions to Liberia's problems. It's time for us to pray for him to stay on strong, healthy, to apply his experience so we can see it. So that when he leaves tomorrow, we will be able to judge him by his service to the state. That there should be no excuses given tomorrow. Oh, but the man was sick. Oh, but the man. Then we'll start saying, but we knew the man was sick. We told you, just stay for him. So it's not an excuse. Then we'll do the real argument and we'll start discussing that. So for all those distractions, folks, let's pray, let it be strong. Let's pray, let's work out. A plan is for the 2 years experience in the government. Let me apply it. It's important. We all will encourage all of you. Protest is good. It's guarded by the laws of our country. We will encourage every citizen to exercise that right. We will also caution that in the exercise of that right, we should also consider that there are people who will not want to protest, not infringe on their willingness to protest, either impeding their movement or causing havoc for them, like the UP people think. Unless when the government says you pause your what about the all the people that including possible shine. So pray for that. That's what we're saying. Minister of Justice, stay clear of politics. Who is another found? And now you will hear one or two times. But always encourage him to be the Oswald Tway that we know, the Oswald Tway that we've always respected in the Stretch. To be that Oswald Tway. Because come to think about this, you have to go to court of truth. They law say these people must be printed. They're written documents. This written documents say, yeah, you are ever have to go to safe to stay here. We are still not can be here. Nobody give you certificate, birth certificate, or protest certificate. The whole thing is to inform the Ministry of Justice, but the police is under the Ministry of Justice. The Ministry of Justice on July 17th, we will be rallying assembly at the Capitol building to call the attention of our lawmakers to action. Well, series of grievances, and we will be our petition to them. We will be assembling at the Capitol building. The purpose of that is for the Minister of Justice to review it, be in the know, put in a necessary security protocol and everything to ensure that the peaceful assemblers can get the security guarding them, where to file, where to stand, where to do all of that. To provide security for them, to ensure that there's no intruder. That's the essence of informing the Minister of Justice. Not necessarily to go tap certificate of protest. No. What you do is know to perform your responsibility. That responsibility is to instruct the police to be there and ensure that those protesters are guarded, protected, and safe. I think we'll take few calls and then we can go home. Yes. So let's take calls 0776 104 104 0886 50104. The numbers to call is going to show tonight. Let me see here. Hello. Let's hear you. This Street, you're live. Go ahead with the point.
Yeah, whatever people who can listen to that. But everything that person we have to hear to condemn all. You talk about rule, you talk about everybody coming down and we'll walk on the road.
That's an issue. That's an issue. Let's take us on the. I don't see the female number. Let me see. The mayor giving back on the other thing. Yeah. I think I have to come here tomorrow. Send somebody tomorrow to come and go through this whole think I'm not. It seems different. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I see what. I see. So let's take calls and then we can go. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, my brother Austin.
Let's hear you.
This is Mary SK calling from Cameron, New Jersey. The idea that people trying to put together, brother, it will not work out. We will protest because we're not protesting to add or not make us salary, or we're protesting to save the state. Yeah, we own the state. We the citizens own the state, and we will fight for the state because the government, all of the rule and law in this country. We not sit there and allow Joseph Baka and puppet to come and destroy the country for us. We will go against them.
I hope you guys are mobilizing in your different communities, though.
I tell you something serious. When it's a New Jersey, we stand and we make sure we'll be part of that protest.
That's good. Thank you very much. Let's hear somebody else. Hello, go ahead. This is Austin Kawan.
Austin, sorry. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, my name is Martino Makai speaking.
Okay.
So let me say thank you for the discussion this evening. So I appreciate all hardworking journalists at Freedom FM for always enlightening the minds of the Liberian people. I must commend you people because for you guys' education, a lot of people, even the woman in the market are selling the data for and paper, understand what is happening in our country. But I've actually called to commend you guys that you people should keep up no matter the criticism, guys, you keep on developing the minds of the Nigerian people to know what is going on out. So let me say thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much too. You're most welcome. Let's hear the next person. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening, dear brother.
Good evening to you.
Yeah. I call you for Jacob's son. Thanks for the show.
Okay.
I following and listening to different views on the different callers. One thing it is guaranteed on the Constitution, Article 1, the power is inherent in the people. Even thing is talk about freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and peaceful assembly. But it comes with responsibilities. I would just want to urge our people who want to protest, who want to petition the government for their safety, also requires to do it in a peaceful manner. You have the right to protest, but the right has limitations. That is, if, for example, you decide to protest and Austin is not part of the protest, Austin should have the right also to peacefully move and go about his business. You should not infringe on Austin's right because you are protesting. It is a good thing to petition the government, but I just want to urge the leaders of the protest to do it in a peaceful manner, petition the government, and I know they will listen and they will hear towards your quest or demand. This is what I try to say, so that people can follow.
Thank you very much. Next person, go ahead. July 17. The people are coming outside July 17. Let's hear you.
Hello.
You are live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Jason Momo calling from Togo State, Borno Country.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to use the medium to extend my appreciation to you for enlightenment to our people. I just want to tell Liberian people our talking bread when it's coming.
Oh, I was about to inject the man from. So I'm trying to get this song, baby boy. I don't know if you're listening. Yeah, you have to text me. I'm trying to get this song. Yeah, there's a song I used to play. I was advised to hold on. Now the song is out. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening to you. Please go ahead. From Babolo County. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Oh, my brother, I just want to tell you people, thank you for the analysis you just made just now for these people. The people not keen to help this country. They're keen to destroy us. By the grace of God, will be the election coming. Before election, God will help us to get the protest to go on. People, the government want to use them to suppress the citizens. That will not be good for us as the people. In the Western world, people allow people to demonstrate and give their view. If to give their view the good one, as he said, people will take it. The one that will not be good for you, they work with a good one. Thank you very much for your time.
You are most welcome. Always. People, this Jibobo. I'm trying to get this. This. I can't get it. Okay, well, I think we'll try it tomorrow. The people, man. They didn't do well. Okay, so folks, I think we are in here, and then we can call it. We can call it a day. We're in here. We have to go. The time is our time is up. We have to go. We have to go. So, it was nice being here with all of you, and we shall be back here tomorrow by God's grace. But we have to go.
My people, where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands. Come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up small, yeah? Okay, let's go.
Oh yeah, so Monday is done, and we shall be back here tomorrow by God's grace. So thanks to all of you for listening and following.
The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that let us do all our damages.
So until we see tomorrow by God's grace, you will have yourselves pleasant moments in your respective areas.
Why you lie? Why you steal? Why you lie? There's tendencies to be. See, we just tell you that why we vote tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But now the question.